Guys, Andrew, welcome back. So this is my media channel, and today we're going to do a bit of a dive into my favorite subject. I haven't visited this in a while, but as you guys have heard, I've been listening to Return to the Shadows, the podcast hosted by Catherine McNamara and Dominic Sherwood, who respectively played Clary and Jace in the TV series that was on Netflix. They have all the airing details on it as well. And it is on the back catalogue of Netflix if you're interested, if you're into YA, and you want just a really good escapism series. And so I'm up to season 2. I'm currently watching through an episode of it's called Beside Still Waters. And essentially, for those of you who haven't watched the series, there is a couple of split off groups of shadow hunters. One is called the Circle. It's essentially a fanatic group who believes that downworlders, so these are beings that have got a soul but also have demonic blood. So your things like your fairies, your vampires, your werewolves, your warlocks as well. The shadow hunters are half angel, half human. They are called Nephilim, so they are based on the angelic beings in the Bible. That essentially the belief in the Bible is that they came to Earth and protected humans, and there is some myths that aren't included in the Catholic versions of the Bible that say they interbred with humans, and that's why some humans have powers that others don't. I'll leave religion out of it, but the Shadowhunters book series overview is based on the theory that all of the legends are true. In season 2, especially this episode, we do see that Valentine and the Circle, so that is the breakaway group, want to rid the world of demon blood. So any demonic beings, whether they have a soul or not. He has the mortal instruments, so these being relics of the world. So the relics being a cup, and the cup can, when you drink from the cup the blood of an angel, you can, if you are pure of heart and strong, can ascend to being a shadow hunter. This did happen in the past, but because of Clary's mum, the relics were lost, and they thought they were lost to time. So the shadow hunters essentially have been a dying breed. Then we do see that the second relic is the soul sword. So in the books, it is only able to compel the truth from a person. However, in the TV series, it is then able to be used to raise angels when combined with the other mortal instruments. You then see that you are able to control demonic creatures with this. And this is the major plot line as well. And we also then see a mirror. In the previous episode, they thought it was a physical mirror, but Cassandra Clare, the author of the source material, did draw from other fantasy series and Arthurian legends, so Legends of King Arthur. We did see a mirror. That mirror is a lake in the Shadowhunters' spiritual and physical homeland, Idris. When you combine those 3 instruments, you are able to raise the angel that created the Shadowhunters and gave them their sacred mission. The Shadowhunters live in what they call the Shadow World. So they are on Earth, but the world, they can see things that we can't see. So there is essentially what they call a glamour between the mundanes, so people who can't see the shadow world, and people who can. And if you have what they call the sight, you are generally descended from a shadow hunter or a downworlder. This gets very complicated because we do see that in the book series there is actually whole families of shadow hunters who have seen the brutality of the ways of the shadow hunters and have actually actively escaped and lived life in the mundane world. We also see that with the downworlders. So most of the downworlders do actually have jobs, mundane jobs. I have talked about that over in the blog as well. But going back to this series, we're seeing that Valentine has raised the angel through the Circle members. They thought the Circle was a thing of the past. However, the Clave, which is the umbrella organisation for the Shadow Hunters, basically their accreditation organisation, the head of the organisation, and their disciplinary all rolled into one. They have agreements with the downworlders, but we see that the downworlders don't feel that their rights are being respected because of previous episodes in this series. But we see that Valentine has raised the angel, but Clary is able to, sorry guys, to take him out permanently, to unalive him. And then we do see that in the carnage, Jace is also unalived by Valentine. And then we also do see that Clary is very naive to this world. She's been brought up as a mundane, and she does use the one wish for Raziel, who is that then is able. So that wish was if there was to be a threat to humanity, Raziel would use his angelic power to summon the angels to deal with that threat. But Clary uses it to resurrect Jace. Not the best use of a wish like that, but we all have our own preferences. Until we're put in a situation like that, essentially we all don't know how we'll react. And then we are also seeing that Magnus and Alec have had major breakdowns in communications. There's been mistrust, there's been lies that led to them being on the brink of war. Because the Clave, from an attack on the Institute, where the Downworlders allied with the Shadow Hunters, they were slaughtered. It was a trap set up by Valentine. We didn't see what it was. But we do see individual downworlders who have personal relationships with the Shadow Hunters who are able to see through the allyship and the factions and to work for the common good. And these guys, I do see direct parallels as well. So we have Maya, who is a werewolf, but she is also a person of colour, bearing in mind that this series is set in New York. And so she is a perfect representation of a minority who has to fight against what is very real systemic oppression as well. Then we also see Simon, who is a Jewish vampire who can walk in the daylight, who has been raised a mundane. He was brought into the world potentially by Clary and turned into a vampire. Then we also see Magnus and Alec have had a lot of miscommunication. They've broken up. However, they are still communicating. Magnus was able to stand by Alec when his little brother Max was attacked by one of Valentine's experiments, and I will go into Valentine's experiments and the parallels in history in another video. because I've talked about this over on the blog, but I've never recorded a video about it. And then we also do see that Valentine has been defeated. I'm up to the party they're having at the Jade Wolf, and that is a bar where the Shadowhunters and no, sorry, I correct myself. At the Hunter's Moon. So that is a bar that we often see them having a party at or hang out at. It is where Maya bartends. We've also seen it in Magnus as well. And Magnus, I will talk about his addictions in a later episode because let's be real, most of the warlocks are addicted to alcohol. There's no getting around it. We're seeing that there has been, due to the next generation, a coming together of the Shadowhunters and the Downworlders. Magnus and Alec are really driving this because of their personal relationship. I do remember from watching this ages ago that Magnus and Alec are able to make up. We do see them leaving the party early as well. We don't know what happened afterwards, but obviously they would have talked through some things because we do know that Nephilim love once and love deeply, and that there's only one time. And we do see that Alec has never had a high school, like he's had crushes, but he's never had romantic relationships. We also do see that the Shadowhunters, to preserve their lines, have also had essentially arranged marriages. We also do see that divorce is common, but it is very difficult because of the interconnections of family lines. And guys, I haven't done a review of Shadowhunters for ages. I've been busy focusing on my other channel and the blog. But guys, if you like this content and want me to keep doing it and come back to it occasionally, if you can please like, share, subscribe. And guys, I will see you in the next video. And guys, you can also find me on my other channels and other platforms. I will try and remember to link them below. And guys, if you're in Toowoomba or on the East Coast, with this weather going around at the time of recording, please be safe and remember, if it's flooded, forget it. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video.